Now, this year's Nobel Prize winner for economics, Angus Deaton, has a deep engagement with India. Much of his path-breaking work on better ways of measuring poverty was done in this country. But in an exclusive interview to NDTV from Princeton University, where he teaches, Deaton says that politics of measuring poverty and growth in India make it impossible to gauge the full extent of either.
A lot of the work that you've done and which I've been reading about is meant to have helped us map and measure poverty better. Isn't it? But you yourself have said that we don't really know where this poverty line should be, yet its precise position makes a huge difference. To put it more brutally, you say the truth is that we have little idea what we're doing.
Well, I probably shouldn't have quite said the last thing. I mean, I don't think we know very much about how many poor people there are. I think we have a pretty good idea of what's been happening over time, and I don't think anyone seriously challenges that poverty in all its dimensions, health poverty, income poverty, even democracy, oppression of lower castes and so on in India has gotten better over time. That doesn't, of course, mean that there isn't a very long way to go.
Right, but you've also said, and you released a statement to the Indian press where you said that it's a matter of concern that measuring the line becomes the subject of these bitter partisan debates, where often
no, well, what I was talking about, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I, have been talking recently about what I call the politics of numbers, and the issue that you can't really think of data as just being given numbers. There's a lot of politics involved in those numbers. But what I was saying in the statement I released to the press was that there's very serious discrepancies in the Indian data system, so that the numbers that are coming out of the national accounts, which go into India's economic growth, are not consistent with the numbers that are being collected by the NSS. And that's a very, very serious gap, and I think not enough has been done to address that.
But what you've been saying is, and this is important to understand, is that regardless of the quibble over where the line should be, overall, there has been significant reduction in poverty. Is that right?
Yes, for sure. In India and in the world as a whole, and India has contributed a lot to that decrease in the world as a whole.
Where do you stand, and I've been reading a little bit about your views on this, but it'll be good to hear you say it, where do you stand on this constant balancing act between the growth wallahs, so to speak, who believe that the rising tide will lift all boats, and between those who actually say that poverty can be reduced through greater redistribution?
Well, I mean, wouldn't it be nice to know the answer to that question? And we can't even talk coherently about it because the data are so contradictory. So, what we've got right now is the growth wallahs, as you call them, are saying, look at this incredible GDP growth, look at all this growth in per consumption per head, what a triumph. And that'll eliminate poverty, and I'm sure it helps. On the other hand, you go to the household survey data, and you just don't see this very rapid rate of growth. I mean, you see some growth, but not nearly as much. So if you don't know which of those is right, you've no idea whether it's trickling down or not, or to what extent it's trickling down, or even whether that growth is real. I'm sure some of that growth is exaggerated. Now, I've no idea how much. It might be just a point or two. It might be a lot more than that.